The setup of the operation. Inside our minds. This one is pretty darn underrated. Nobody never talks about this phantom of the opera that came from in a Pokemon movie. That's for sure. Well, anyway, hi ladies and dudes. This is Rebecca Lynn Barkley, aka Boobop 1987. This is my review for today, and I want to let you know I am so darn sorry that I haven't done a movie review for a while. I promise to all of you I will do those movie reviews that I truly missed in movie theaters. Well, if you know my issue pretty darn well, for the past few months ago or so. But finally, at long last, ladies and dudes, I finally got a movie review for all of you. And it featured this Pokemon. And a very underrated movie. And the most surprising thing about this Pokemon movie that featured a Pokemon in it, we got a Pokemon movie that is truly based by, well, either way will work, that came from in a book or in the musical. But for this movie, there is no love story to be involved, no love triangle to be involved, and most of all, no musical numbers. So none of it is not in there. That's for sure. Yeah, it features somewhat of the Phantom Opera story in some ways, but also featured time and space type of thingy-majig. And yeah, it featured two Pokemon that represents Diamond and the other is Pearl. I guess you want to know which movie I'm talking about. So for my next movie review is Pokemon movie number 10. The Rise of Darkrai. And also from the Japanese dub, it's Pauga versus Diega. If I remember the title right, that was in the Japanese dub. So anyway, let's head on to my next movie review of Pokemon the movie number 10, The Rise of Darkrai. One of the most underrated adaptations ever that came from our favorite musical or book, whichever you prefer. So yeah, it took place in the Diamond and Pearl area where Ash and his friends are going on their next adventure in the Sinnoh region, if I remember right, where the whole entire area took place. And yeah, Dawn has to get ready for another contest since she's so darn excited about going on to another Pokemon contest where she could earn her next ribbon. Well, it's been a while. I haven't seen Diamond or Pearl for a pretty long time. And yes, they met two nice people named Alice and Tonio. They live in that town. For Alice, she is says she's not a singer or performer. She likes to do some nice, sweet music in a leaf, and she wants to calm down all the Pokemon if they had an argument or something. Well, Tonio, yes, he is the Ral type. He is a nerd. He loves to do science stuff, and he likes to do some research here and there. Yeah, everything was A-okay from the town that they came from. Not until there was an unknown disturbance that came out of nowhere, and they believe that this Pokemon is the one who's destruction or disturbing the whole entire town or something like that. But they did not know up above there is some type of disturbance in the sky where there's two unknown Pokemon are having an unknown fight for some unknown reason. And that's all I could say about the main plot of the story of the Rise of Darkrai. And I guess everybody wants to know is, what the heck do I think about this movie of the Rise of Darkrai? To tell you the truth is, ladies and dudes, I still love this movie even to this day. This is one of the most underrated adaptations of the Phantom of the Opera that we ever gotten for so many years. This film is so darn underrated and nobody never talks about this movie. That is truly a Phantom of the Opera adaptation. And yeah, it featured the time and space thingy as well. And yeah, I did study the film pretty darn well. I did find some references here and there that I found that came from in our favorite musical. I remember I did study the book once from Wikipedia, but I just rather remember it from the musical itself. I did study and do some research about it. What I truly remembered that was in the musical version of the Phantom of the Opera. Overall, they got some parts right that was kind of familiar to me, but they decided to add some type of twist in it. You know, for the few familiar characters, and also that big giant building thing that is known as the Opera Populaire, and that's that time and space place thingy-majig. I wonder why the director had never thought about that he made a Pokemon movie that was truly based by the musical or the book, whichever you prefer, in your own opinion. So I will say, yes, I did enjoy this movie very darn much. I will say it had a pretty good storyline for the most part. It has likable characters, good animation, good drama. It had a very nice score. It has good mystery to it, and all sorts of stuff. Let's go on to my strongest points and the weakest point of the Rise of Darkrai. I will say for the strongest point for this movie, it's a sad shame they never added this song in the English dub, but in the Japanese dub, they really did get away with it with these two great artists, whoever they are, who made that very beautiful song called I'll Be With You. Yeah, I really love that song. I will be with you. Oh yeah, I really love that song. That song blew me away from start to finish. It was just pure magic. This is one of the best songs of all time for a Pokemon film. I mean, it was so darn breathtaking. It has a nice rhythm, beautiful sound, lovely lyrics, and it'll take your breath away. Yeah, I loved listening to that song, and I do have it on my favorite anime songs playlist. Yeah, that's for sure. Maybe I'll leave a link down below so you can listen to that very sweet, lovely song that will blow you away. Big time. So yeah, I will say the strongest point for this movie is really the song called I Will Be With You. It's just a breathtaking song. It will blow you away. Big time. And yeah, I will admit this movie does have I will say just one major weak point in the movie. There were some moments here and there where Ash was acting like a child. I just sick and tired of him being a stupid 10-year-old. I wish he was older than that. When I remember Diamond and Pearl very carefully, I thought he looks kind of older when I look at that character design. He does look very older in some ways, but I just wish there was a part of him where he needs to grow up and become a mature young man. And they didn't do it. Curse those idiots, making him as a stupid 10-year-old. I want him to be like 15 or 16 or somewhere around the line. They were high on drugs when they did that. They should be ashamed of themselves. Ugh. I'm sick and tired of Ash's immature behavior. I'm sick and tired of it. They should have fixed that part. And maybe that way I can give this movie a good masterpiece rating. If you know what I mean. So I think that's all I could say about the weakest point about the movie is there are some scenes here or there where Ash is acting too much like a child and not a mature teenager. I just wish they could fix that part for the Pokemon movie, if you know what I mean. And now, let's head on to the characters. I will go with the 3 characters that stand out to me in this movie. Just 3 characters. We got Alice, who's the adaptation of Christine Daae. We got Tonio, who's the adaptation of Rel. And most of all, this guy who's truly the Phantom of the Opera, but minus the opera music, sadly to say. Okay, the first character I want to talk about is Alice. Played by the actress I really don't know of, and yeah, I have to let you know right now, I did see it in the English dub, but I was trying to find the Japanese dub yesterday. Yeah, I really love Alice. She's a really, really nice character. She's such a sweetheart, and like I said, she's the Christine Daae type. I mean, like I said, she doesn't do any singing, she doesn't do any dancing. All she could do in her job is be a hot air balloon person and also sing a very sweet, lovely tune to the Pokemon. Something she needs to calm them down while there was an argument or a fight or something. And boy, she did a really good job of playing that lovely tune. Something that's very peaceful and quiet. And also, I frickin' love her Chimchar. That Chimchar is so cute and adorable. I would love to hug it. I want to have a Chimchar on my own one day. It is such a sweet little thing. That's for sure. So yeah, I love Alice, and she's a good adaptation of Christine Daae. And then we got Tonio, who's really the Ral lookalike. And I really like this Ral adaptation of the character. You know, being a scientist nerd, he loves science so much. He likes to do his research here and there. And this is the Ral adaptation that us, the fans, need to root for. Because he took care of his job really, really seriously. And he really wants to solve the case about getting to know who this Darkrai is and get to know what the heck is going on with their town. Something that I don't want to spoil too much. But I hope everybody will love this Ral. He's the best Ral we ever had in a good adaptation of the Phantom of the Opera, but minus the musical parts. That dude rules overall. And now we got this Pokemon, Darkrai. And yes, this is what he looks like. And they did a pretty good job of giving us a different adaptation of this Phantom. And he's very darn underrated. One of the most underrated Phantoms that we ever had for so many years. Yeah, they gave him a very good storyline, a very good personality and attitude, and they gave him the best twist ever in the Phantom of the Opera history, where he's not the bad guy, he's the good guy. And all he ever wanted is to protect his home away from those two legendary Pokemon who were trying to ruin it. Well, if you... I guess you haven't seen the movie yet, but just check it out if you can. That's all I could say about this amazing character. I'll have to go ahead and tell you about my final thoughts of the Rise of Darkrai. Overall, this is one of my favorite Pokemon movies of all time, and truly one of the most underrated adaptations of the Phantom of the Opera that we ever gotten for so many years. It had a good storyline, likable characters, good animation, good drama, good score, good mystery. Just one of the best adaptations of the Phantom of the Opera that we ever gotten for so many years. And please check it out if you can. But I wish I could find it in the Japanese dub and not the English dub. I will say the English dub is pretty good, but I just don't like the voice actress of Ash because it's too annoying in my taste. So I decided to give this film a 9 out of 10. And that's all I could say about my movie review of The Rise of Darkrai. And before I go, I will let you know is last night me and my mom are trying to take care of our cat who has 4 kittens. They're here in our house right now as I speak. So I'll do the best I can to take good care of them for... well, who knows how long, since I have zero experience of taking care of a cat and 4 kittens. Well, it's a long story, hard for me to explain. But that's all I have for now, and I'll see you all later, and sayonara.